Take 3. I didn't even own a mountain bike for 10 years. And I started recording myself in the first month of owning another one. So this is a video about my journey over the last month and what it's been like trying to get back into the sport after 10 years. So we found a deal on Facebook Marketplace that had 2 barely used Diamondback Atros 2s, and it was only $1,200 for both bikes. So we thought we might as well jump on the deal, and I picked them up the day after we got back home from our trip. I think it was in the first day or 2 of owning the bike that I was already hitting the trails with it. Here in Waco, Cameron Park has a lot of mountain biking trails, and I've heard a lot of good things about them. We lived out here for a few years, and I always told myself that I was going to get a mountain bike and go get back into riding, go to Cameron Park and see what it's all about. First day I went over there, I took a friend with me, and we just kind of were trying to see how we felt on the trails, and it gave me a good idea of where my skill level is at. Pretty much a beginner. All the things that I had learned when I rode a mountain bike as a teenager were out the window at this point. So it took me a little bit to get comfortable on the bike again. So the first few times I went out, I just found some greens, a couple of blue trails that I liked, made it into a loop, and just kind of explored the park. After that first week or so, I started to build some confidence on the bike and decided I was going to start challenging myself, trying to hit everything a little bit faster, more difficult trails. The drops that I would avoid on some of the green trails, I didn't avoid them anymore, and it was a little bit sketchy sometimes. The first time I went to ride, we found ourselves in a part of the park where the only trails that we had immediate access to were double blacks. I had seen YouTube videos of a couple of them, so I decided that the one that I hadn't heard of might be the best bet. That was a terrible idea. I made it about halfway down the first feature, and I went over the bars. Scraped up my hand real bad, called my brothers about it, they got a really good laugh. After I went over the bars, I decided that I needed more time before I tried any more difficult trails like that. So over the past few weeks, I continued to ride those greens and those blues and found some jump trails that are there and wanted to just get back into the rhythm of what it was like riding my mountain bike. Specifically, my new Atros 2 is a lot different. The only bikes I've had in the past were Walmart bikes, and they were not anywhere near the level of bike that I'm on now. So it's nice. It's easy to continue to push yourself the more you ride. I currently ride 2 or 3 times a week if I can, which is great. Every time I get back out there, I'm a little bit faster, more comfortable on the bike. 9 times out of 10 when I go to the park, I'm riding by myself. I definitely prefer to ride with more people, especially on trails that are new to me. And when they have experience on the trail, it's much better when you have somebody to tow you in. It must have been my 2nd or 3rd time that I went out to the park. I decided I was going to go hit the jump trail, and when I got up there, I did one run on it, and by the time I got back up to the top, I ran into a guy named Logan who rides there all the time. Since then, I just go back. I almost ride the same exact loop every time. I change it up a little bit just for the sake of trying to document some more trails and see how comfortable I am. Maybe I'll find a new one that I like. So after the first couple of weeks, I definitely started to get more and more comfortable on the bike and getting faster. Kind of tuned my bike a little bit. I still am not quite sure what I'm doing with that, but it does feel better than it did when I first bought it. So I don't know if it's because I tuned it or because I rode more, but either way, if you're ever wondering how to get more comfortable on your bike, how to get better on your bike and hit trails that you don't think you were capable of, you just have to ride more. ride as much as you can. Have fun when you do it. Be loose, be confident, and only hit trails that you are going to feel confident on until you're ready to push yourself a little bit. The first video I made was mostly just a trail review. The idea behind that was just to share the trails that I ride on almost every time I go out there with my brothers. My second video was very similar trails. I changed it up a little bit on how I got there and hit a couple of features that were in the middle of those trails that I really enjoyed, and that video was fun to make. On my third video, we went back to Arkansas to visit family for Thanksgiving, and my brothers told me they only live about 30 minutes away from Northwoods. If you've ever been there, I'm sure you know why we wanted to go to those trails. We squeezed it in the morning after Thanksgiving. It was just the four of us, and we got to ride together again. It's probably the first time in a very long time that we got to do something all together. It was a ton of fun. The trails in Northwoods were a lot different than the ones that I ride in Waco. Waco seems to be a lot of natural made trails where as long as you split the trees, you're fine. But in Northwoods, there was a lot more clay and man-made trails there, but that makes for some smoother experiences. Really good berms, nice jumps. My brother said that over the years, it has gotten a little bit more rocky just because the trails aren't brand new anymore. But I had a ton of fun riding those trails. All these videos that I reference, I will tag them probably right up here, and feel free to go watch those, check out what I've been up to. So let's get into the week-to-week review. So for the sake of recapping what this first month was like, I'm gonna break it down week by week. Week 1, I went riding with my buddy from across the street. We made our way out to Cameron Park, and that was my first time riding these trails. And it was the first time riding trails in a really long time. That first day that we went out, we primarily rode green and blue trails, and they were very beginner friendly, and it made for a really fun time because we got to go out and have some fun without having too many problems. At the end of that day, we were just trying to make our way back to the car as fast as we could, and we ended up in an area of the park that only had double black diamonds. I had never even gone down one before. I didn't know what to expect. And the trail that we started on starts out nice and flat and then immediately goes into some really technical terrain. I made about halfway down that first feature before I went over the bars, and that kept me off the bike for a few days just because I scratched up my hand, but I didn't have any major injuries. So it was nice because I got to go back to the trails right away. So my first video is a recap of all the trails that I hit that week. I went online and I found a loop that seemed to fit my skill level, and after the first time of riding it, I decided it was a good one to put together a video recapping what I like and don't like about those trails. So you can watch that here. My second week, I decided to do some more challenging trails, including some jump trails that I had never seen before. By the time I made my way up there, I ran into a local named Logan, and he towed me into that jump trail and told me a little bit more about some trails that I didn't even know were there. That week, I did not wreck. Fun fact, I have not wrecked since I went over the bars on my first day of riding, which is good because it continues to build my confidence, and I'm thinking about hitting that trail again now. That video was all about recapping some of the other trails that I found when I went back to ride again. Part of that video was a jump trail called Arizona, and that's the one that I consistently go back to test my progress on how comfortable I am in the air, and I have made a good bit of progress. The first time I did it, I was towed in by Logan, and I'm pretty sure I cased every single jump and dodged a couple of them. There's also a wall ride on that trail that I tried hitting once, and I definitely didn't have the speed for it. It's almost vertical, and I didn't wreck, but I did slide off of the wall. So, still working on that one. After we hit the jump trail, he showed me another one called the Force. I didn't even know that trail was there. So that was really cool. And he showed me another one called Colorado. So if you want to check out what those trails look like, I'll tag the video right here. And my third video is a recap of that week where we made our way back to Arkansas to visit family for Thanksgiving. And I told my brothers that I wanted to find somewhere to ride, and they said we should definitely hit Northwoods. They've ridden out there plenty of times. I'd never been there, so I was eager to check it out. So we made it to the park right as the sun came up, and it was great because we had the park completely to ourselves. And so it was a quick uphill ride to the hub where some of their favorite trails were. That day we went down Blue Jay. We sessioned that for probably an hour and a half at least. And at first I had a lot of problems keeping up with them. I cased a lot of jumps. So after we sessioned Blue Jay for a little while, my brothers wanted to show me some features on Lucky 13, a more advanced trail that I was incapable of hitting those features that day. So I'll definitely have to go back and see what I'm capable of now. But on that trail, there was a really cool rock gap that we hit. So if you're interested in seeing what that trail looked like from my POV, you should check it out. I'll tag it in the video right here. For my fourth video, we're back home in Waco, and I went back to the same trails that I used to track my progression to see how much faster I've gotten. Because over the course of a month, you'd be surprised at how much progress you can make. I think I've cut at least 30 seconds off of some of these trails that I've done. So if you want to see exactly how much better I've gotten on my mountain bike, you can go back and watch some of the first and second videos that I posted, and then come back to that one that's Cameron Park Trails episode 3. I'll tag it right here. Check it out and see what you think about how much progress I've made. So I'm pretty proud of it. After waiting 10 years to buy a mountain bike, I was a little bit surprised at how much confidence I gained in just 4 weeks. So what's next? My wife and I have a trip planned to go to Big Bend, and we drive right past Spider Mountain on the way there, so we're going to stop by and I'm going to hit that bike park. That'll be my first time riding in a bike park. A couple of my brothers have been there before and they said it's totally sick, so I cannot wait to hit those trails. After that, in 2024, my wife and I are hoping to get out of Texas. Let me know where your favorite trails are in the comments down below so I know what to keep my eyes out for. So if you guys like this video and you want to check out any of my other ones, I'll have them in the description down below. So thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me. If you could do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss any of my videos. I post every week. Remember, get out on your bike, hit those trails, and I'll see you guys out there.